Good morning. I'm Steve Howe, co-chair of the Liberty Science Center Board of Trustees. And on behalf of my friend and co-chair, David Barry, LSC's president and CEO, Paul HOFFMAN, and all of our trustees and staff, I would like to welcome you here this morning. I would also like to recognize and thank all of our dignitaries here with us today, most especially Governor Phil Murphy, Mayor Stephen FULOP, and Hudson County Executive Tom DEGISE. Thanks for being with us this morning. Today, on this truly beautiful fall day, we celebrate the beginning of an extraordinary and transformational project. A little over 2 years from now, in late 2023, we hope to welcome you back here on the other side of the street for an opening ceremony. The 12.5 acres we're looking at across the way was originally entrusted to Liberty Science Center by Mayor FULOP, the City Council of Jersey City, and the Jersey City Redevelopment Authority in 2017. In the 4+ years since then, much of the groundwork that's been laid has pertained to funding, planning, negotiating, designing, drafting, redesigning, and building significant new partnerships, some of which you will hear about shortly. I'm here today addressing you not only as the Liberty Science Center Board co-chair, but as the retired chairman of EY. In 2018, EY had the distinction of signing on to this project as the first founding corporate sponsor of SciTech City. Since that time, there are a number of other companies and individuals who have also recognized the true genius of this project and have added their names to the list of partners and donors, and many of them are also here this morning. Thank you all. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Liberty Science Center's President and CEO, Paul HOFFMAN. Since Paul first presented the idea of SciTech City to the LSC board in 2016, he has been unswerving in his passion for this project. At the same time, Paul has also maintained his incredible and fierce advocacy for the Liberty Science Center, growing it significantly since the start of his tenure, which was 10 years ago this week. I also must point out that for us on the board and many others, it was no small feat to watch Paul drive both the evolving SciTech City and the established Liberty Science Center through the pandemic. For those of us who know and love Paul, we are pleased but not surprised to report that both are thriving. I give you all Paul HOFFMAN.
Thank you. This working? All right, excellent. There's so many of you I want to thank. When I started this job 10 years ago, I didn't have a public policy degree in managing through a pandemic. I don't think any of us did. Really happy what science has done, particularly in the vaccine front, to enable us to pull out of this. I mean, we can't know what the exact future is going to be, but things are looking much better at this moment. You know, we opened our doors a year ago in a very controlled way, letting very few people into the building, shorter periods, closing anything that was too congested, increasing airflow. And we've had 231,000 visitors over these past years. And knock on wood, I hate to say this because I don't want to be proven wrong tomorrow, no one, as far as we know, has gotten COVID in our facility. So that's wonderful. And I want to thank my team, Iowaka and Amanda and Tamor and Liza and Paul Marsh, and we have just incredible group of people, Chris Schroeder, that has kept this place going. And so many of you on the Board of Trustees who have helped supported us through these times when our attendance has been lower. This project, SciTech City, would not be possible if it weren't for the incredible leadership of public officials in our state, starting with Governor Murphy, Steve FULOP. Steve challenged me 5 years ago and challenged our board to come up with a use for this rather looking distressed land. I'm told in that tank there's actually a lot of carp in there, that before we remove it, because we are good to nature and good to our non-human friends on the planet, we'll need to relocate the carp maybe elsewhere in the park if they'll let us. But this rather looking distressed land we're going to transform into an incredible project. And it was Steve who challenged us to come up with an idea. And I forget what I first proposed to him, but he said it wasn't ambitious enough. We need an idea that's going to change the face of Jersey City and New Jersey when this is successful. And that's what we're doing. We are building a business optimizer that's a new breed of innovation center that's both going to maximize commercial success and social impact. We want to jumpstart the creation of early stage science and technology companies that, if they are successful, will radically change the world, will make the world a great, better place. And what's wonderful about any incubator, if you look at the statistics, 70% of companies that make it out of an incubator set up permanent shop within 5 miles of where they're birthed. So that should bring a lot of jobs here to Jersey City and New Jersey, not just the direct jobs in construction and building it, but when these companies make it. There's so many people I want to recognize in addition to the county executive, Tom DeGise. We would not have this school if it wasn't for your vision and the vision of your whole team. I very much appreciate that. There are many other people here from the governor's administration, Joe Kelly, Deputy Chief of Staff, Tim Sullivan at the NJEDA, Andrew Gross at the New Jersey Israeli Commission. Where are you? Rob Rodriguez is out there, superintendent of this incredible park right next to us. We also have Angelica Ellen McMillan, DOE commissioner here, Assemblyman Nicholas Chevroletti, and Raj Mukherjee is here. From Hudson County, we have Commissioners Anthony Romano and Jerry Walker. From the Hudson County Improvement Authority, I want to recognize the chairman, Frank Prestana, and Commissioners Frank Lorenzo and Jeff Dublin. Hudson County Schools of Technology Superintendent, Amy Lynn Rodriguez. You'll hear from her shortly. She's been a great partner in this. And here from Jersey City, Diana Jeffries and Chris Fiore of the JCRA. From the City Council, our President Joyce Waterman, Councilman Richard Bogiana, Rolando Lavaro, Denise Ridley, and Jermaine Robinson from Ward F, where LSC is proud to call our home, is also here. So thank all of you. So this project that we're breaking ground on, it has 4 elements to it, and we'll be opening late 2023, early 2024. So there is EdgeWorks, an 8-story business optimizer that's going to go up right on this corner. That's where all the startup companies will be based. That's where R&D labs will be. That's where our established corporate partners will also be. And then there is Liberty Science Center High School. This is a public school, public magnet school for the county to draw the most science-interested students, not necessarily the ones that test the best, but the ones that are passionate about science. And you'll hear shortly from Amy, the superintendent, and Laura Overdeck, who's the vice chair of Liberty Science Center, and very generously and graciously put up a matching challenge grant that this is a public-private partnership. This project got going because of her generosity and the generosity of others here who matched that. But this is a school that we aspire to having the best science school in the United States, and it's going to have some very unique elements to it. All the students that are there will be able to do meaningful work experiences and mentorships at the companies based in Edgeworth. They can walk 250 feet. That's going to distinguish it from schools anywhere else. And they also have the resources of Liberty Science Center. If you're a kid interested in astrophysics, what could be a better place than to be able to show your work and look at images on the largest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere? So we really hope this project is going to rock not just Jersey City, but if we do it right, rock the world. The other element of it is Scholars Village, which is residential housing. Anyone can move in there who embraces this vision of creating the future by using science and technology to make a better future for all of us. So it's a beautiful place to move into. If you're a company on the West Coast or a foreign company and you want a beachhead in New Jersey and the greater New York area, why not live here, set up shop in our EdgeWork incubators, send your kids to this wonderful new high school that Amy's creating with help from Ivy Williams. I want to recognize her. She's our head of STEM education. So this is a great project, and as Steve said, we're going to welcome you back when we have it. And now I would like to introduce the Honorable Phil Murphy, the 56th governor of New Jersey.
Thank you, Paul. I want you to know that I considered wearing a t-shirt this morning. And as you yourself said, that may have been an inappropriate attire for other activities I was doing today, and that's where I came down. Thank you for those incredible words. Thanks to Steve Howe and Dave Barry for their leadership. It's an honor to be again with the County Executive, Tom DeGise. Tom, great to be with you. Mayor Steve FULOP, Superintendent Amy Lynn Rodriguez, Vice Chair of the Board and friend Laura Overdeck, all the other elected officials, board members, corporate sponsors, generous donors and partners. I think Paul said it, but let's be quite clear. We're not breaking ground on just any new buildings today. When we turn over our shovels, we will be breaking ground on an entirely new and exciting world of possibilities in education, in innovation, and in partnership and collaboration, and not just for Jersey City or Liberty Science Center, but for our entire state. Everything we will need to make New Jersey a global leader in innovation and technology from education onward will be right here on this campus. I've had the honor to break ground on new high schools and inaugurate new programs where students will be learning at the leading edge of technology and innovation. I've joined ribbon cuttings at research and development labs and business incubators where ideas move from drafting table to reality to commercialization. And I have seen the look of discovery on the face of visitors, whether they be children or adults, as they immerse themselves in all that Liberty Science Center has to offer. But today we're taking a huge step forward in creating a single campus where each of these things can and will happen together. Even Paul's energy and that of the great leadership team at Liberty Science Center, while tremendous, can't make all this come to fruition on their own. Like so much in the history of great leaps, getting to today took partnership and collaboration. And looking around at this tent this morning and taking in the width of experiences and breadth of industries represented in this audience proves that point, including from Israel, Dr. Zimmerman. Great to meet you. From every imaginable sector, we are brought together by the desire to see our state not just succeed, but lead. And we'll see another new partnership effectuated in a couple of minutes. Not many miles from here, down Route 78 is Berkeley Heights, is the iconic now Nokia Bell Labs, where over the past 80 years, so many of the innovations that made modern life possible were created. Among the 9 Nobel laureates who have worked at Bell Labs was John Bardeen, part of the team that invented the solid-state transistor. And he said this, I quote John, "Science is a field which grows continuously with ever-expanding frontiers. Further, it is truly international in scope. Science is a collaborative effort." And here is where this statement will be brought to life, through education, through discovery, through commercialization. As I said, we are breaking ground not just on a campus, but on a whole world of possibilities. And I, for one, cannot wait to see what happens. Thank you for the pleasure of being able to be a part of this celebration. And thanks to everyone whose work, commitment, and funding has made today possible. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce the Honorable Stephen Fulop, the 49th mayor of Jersey City. Without his leadership and his vision for looking ahead at what Jersey City should be like in innovation, in the arts, this man has done incredible things working with the City Council to make Jersey City such a world-class city. I welcome Honorable Stephen Fulop.
morning. I wanted to take a second and just share a little bit about Jersey City and what this means today from my standpoint, as it's been quite a journey to get here. When I ran for office 8 years ago, I was unequivocal and clear that I believe Jersey City could be one of the best mid-sized cities in the country. There was no reason why we couldn't achieve that when you think of all the great things we have. We're one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse city in the country. We are the gateway to America here with Ellis Island. We're in the biggest media market in the world, a mile away from New York City. We have good old bone structure that people like when they come into our cities. But we never really achieved that. And we set off on a course to do that. And I think day by day, we've been moving the city in this direction. 6 years ago, we had a conversation with Paul about this property behind us. There was no shortage of developers that were interested in building residential housing. The land appraised for $20 million, and we controlled the zoning with unobstructed views of Statue of Liberty and the New York skyline. We could have really done anything with this. What we did was we sat down with Dave Barry, and we sat down with Paul HOFFMAN, and we said, we'll give it to you. We just want a big, ambitious plan. We wanted to make Jersey City further a destination place where it would attract people, regardless of where you were from beyond this region, to come here knowing about what was happening here. And so we started off on this course to where we are today. There's been a lot of ups and downs through this process, and it really hasn't been easy. And I want to say, first and foremost, a big thank you to the City Council. You know, when you come to them with plans and say, hey, this is what we're looking to do, often you hear from the naysayers the most, the critics. They're the ones that come in the hundreds to the council chambers. And it is hard to stand up there in those instances and vote for what you think the larger narrative is around the Jersey City, what people want, and not just listen to the loudest voices. It's really about true leadership in those situations. And they've had countless meetings where it's been a packed city council chambers, people criticizing what type of public school we have there, people criticizing what type of development we have there. Why aren't we using this for ratables? And I'm just really thankful that they've stood their ground and done the right thing. When you look forward 10 years and 20 years and 30 years, Jersey City, this is a moment that will change Jersey City forever. And so I just want to say thank you to the council members that are here, because it wouldn't happen without them. And if you just join me in a round of applause. I want to say a special thank you also to our county partners. The most important thing for me in this project was the education component. Liberty Science Center prides itself on that, but having a school here that really wants to be the best public high school in the country is what was important to me. And we worked hard to look for different opportunities, how it could fit together with what we're doing. And again, a lot of opposition along the way, but I'm thankful through the leadership of County Executive Tom DeGise and Amy, we got here today, and with the generosity of the OVERDECK Foundation. There aren't many people that would put millions of dollars into a public high school, and they did. And I'm really thankful, because we would not be here today. I am 100% confident at this point that when this school opens in 3 years as well, that it will be the best high school in the country when it comes to science. So I just want to say thank you again, Tom, for your leadership, and Laura and the entire team. And then, you know, finally, I just want to again reiterate my appreciation to Governor Murphy for his support here. It is an exciting time to be in Jersey City. 4 months ago, we announced the partnership with the Centre Pompidou from Paris, moving here to Jersey City, their first North American location. We're going to be joining Brussels and Shanghai, and then on that list will be Journal Square, Jersey City. And it fits perfectly from my standpoint. And when you think about how people will view Jersey City, and that they'll be able to come here and spend a day here at Liberty Science Center, maybe go to the Pompidou, see a show at the Lowe's, which we've started renovation on. Jersey City truly is becoming that destination city beyond just the big buildings and the developers that have invested in here for a long time. So we're thankful for the Liberty Science Center board. We're thankful for Paul HOFFMAN and the governor and Tom, and there are a lot of people to thank to get here, because it really is an example of collaboration. But today, is an extremely exciting day, and one of these days that we'll look back on 10, 20 years from now and knowing that we've really transformed the city. So thank you and congratulations to everybody.
So one of the goals of the project, aside from reimagining K-12 STEM education and trying to jumpstart the creation of science and technology companies, is to give people a glimpse of the near-term future, to be able to see it, not through museum displays. We do some pretty exciting displays at Liberty Science Center, but through actually being able to experience new technologies before they're out in the marketplace. And that's really important. You know, World's Fairs are often known for one key piece of technology. I mean, I date myself by telling you I went to the '64 World's Fair where I tried the AT&T video phone. And look, we use a form of that every day throughout the pandemic, right? That changed the world. We want a place that you can come and see the future. And we're really exciting today to announce our first major partner in that regard, our first innovation partner, and our first international tenant. And that's the SHEBA Medical Center, which is one of the 10 top hospital systems in the world. It's the Mayo Clinic of the Mideast, or maybe I should say the Mayo Clinic is the SHEBA of the United States. I'm not so sure. But this is a tremendous institution. You've probably seen it in the news for many COVID protocols that hospitals and doctors all over the world are using, were developed at SHEBA during the pandemic. They have a simulation center there where they train medical professionals. I think this opened a couple decades ago. It started with, because you can imagine in Tel Aviv, you're dealing with a very diverse set of patients. You might have a Muslim woman who walks in, an Orthodox Jewish doctor is treating her. What's the protocol, explaining why I'm doing this, where can't I touch you, why am I going to touch you, all these things. Started in kind of a low-tech way, and now is the leading simulation center in the world that uses robotics and augmented reality and AI. So they will be putting one whole floor of our EdgeWorks incubator will be a simulation of the hospital of the future. And most importantly, it will focus on digital healthcare and healthcare, which of course helps all of us, but it particularly helps people from underserved communities who may not have easy access to specialized care. They can't get childcare, or it's too far, or they can't leave their jobs, or whatever. So more you can deliver into the home and in their communities. So we're very excited to be working with SHEBA, and one of our roles as Liberty Science Center will be help them make a difference in our communities here, in our underserved communities here in New Jersey. So again, it represents what we're trying to do, maximize commercial success and social impact. And now I would like to bring up our partner in this, Dr. EYAL ZIMLICHMANN, who came all the way yesterday from Israel. He's the deputy director of the SHEBA Medical System. He's their chief medical officer, and he's their chief innovation officer. EYAL, could you join me?
Thank you, everyone. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here. The Honorable Governor Murphy and Mayor FULOP, of course, we're honored that you're here with us on this occasion. And of course, my new friend and partner, Paul HOFFMAN, who I've learned to respect over the past couple of months since we started these communications between us. And I think the one question I get asked a lot is, how is SHEBA involved in a project like this? Why do we have the flag of Israel on the groundbreaking of this amazing project here? And I can tell you a few words about SHEBA. Probably if you'll give me an hour, I'll do that, but I don't have that time. But really briefly, SHEBA is looking to create a global impact. SHEBA, as you heard, is one of the top 10 hospitals in the world, leading hospital in Israel, leading hospital in the Middle East, one of the biggest hospitals in the world, by the way. And we're always looking to push our boundaries. We are looking to change healthcare around the world. It's not simple, as you know, but that's our aim. And to do that, we have different projects that we're doing. We have one in Chicago, we have one in the UK, in Australia. But this is something completely different. The matchmaker was Ilan Kuftal. Ilan, a good friend of SHEBA, and of course also to the state of New Jersey and the Liberty Science Center, and of course to the Russell Berry Foundation. And Angelica, your support has been amazing on this. That connection between SHEBA and our ARC program, the innovation program that aims to change healthcare, with the Liberty Science Center and Paul HOFFMAN, was really tremendous in igniting this thing, which I think will have huge impact, not only locally for the city of Jersey City, not only for the state of New Jersey, not only for the country of the US, but for the world. And this is where I urge us all to direct our attention. How can we, out of this spot, change the world? Now, typically we think it's impossible, or near impossible to do it, but through innovation, it is possible. An innovation that comes out that allows you to replace a heart valve in a procedure that takes 10 minutes rather than 6-hour surgery will change the world. A procedure that would cost only $1,000 and not $100,000 would allow that procedure to go everywhere in Jersey City, in the US, and around the world. So in healthcare, we're able through innovation to have huge impact on patient lives. And this is exactly what we're aiming to do as part of this project. We want to bring our entire ecosystem, more than 100 members around the world, to converge here as part of this building, which will be in 2 years, hopefully, behind me. And you'll see the magic displayed here. The magic will collect from all of what we're doing, all the innovation coming out of our innovation program will be displayed here and will show us how the future of healthcare would look like. So we typically say, together we're able to change the future of healthcare, and I think with the energy we're seeing this morning, I think it's definitely achievable. Thank you, everyone, and good luck.
EYAL, why don't you stay up here for a second? We're going to have a signing ceremony to sign our MOU. Actually, the governor and the mayor, could you come up? It's not every day I get to have the governor and mayor notarize my signature, so let's take advantage of that. You just have to make sure it's really, and then I'm really the one that signed it. This look legitimate?
I think so.
Okay, good. I won't have you sign it because you'd be giving away the state.
Paul,
to
yours
us,
is
but,
in
you know.
crayon, though. I
Okay.
thought this was...
Nice. We'd like to sign.
Oh, we just said. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Anyway.
I assume my name?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Little did they know that they've just made a $10 billion contribution to Liberty Science Center. You know, now I'd like to turn to, for me, it's kind of the most exciting part, and that is I never thought in my life that I'd be part of a process to create a new school. And, you know, aspirationally, we really are going to aim to make this the best science school in the United States. And there's such a natural synergy between a high school and these startup companies, right? We also hope to do things in lower grades eventually, but there's so much synergy there. And this all started with a process. It was over 1.5 years of Laura Overdeck and I and a few others, Ivory, meeting to think about different models for high schools, to actually look at some other ones and try to come up with the best plan. At the end of this process, we found incredible partners in the county. They have successful schools that they've built and oversubscribed. They know how to build a school. We deal with 290,000 students a year that come here for hands-on guided science programs. So we believe that this combination is going to be wonderful. And it all started and is all possible because of Laura Overdeck. Would you please join us?
Thank you, Paul, Governor Murphy, Mayor Fulop, all the dignitaries here. Thank you so much for being here. The two pieces of this project are tackling two big emergencies. That's what we've all come together to fight. The first is just how our daily lives depend on science and math and engineering and technology. When I was a kid, I lived in Rio de Janeiro. Rio in the late 70s was pretty ropey, and I saw firsthand what it's like to live with regularly malfunctioning engineering. Elevators stopped between floors. People would run the stoplights because they often didn't work. The drain in the neighborhood pool was at the shallow end, and they had to squeegee the water uphill to drain the pool. I mean, this is what it was like. And you know, it's funny when the water goes the wrong way in the pool. It's not funny when it's your sewage treatment plant, right? It's not funny to get on an elevator and always wonder if it's going to plunge to the earth. It was such a relief to move back to the United States and just have things work. And we all kind of take that for granted, right? We're an amazing country, things work. I worry that we can't take that for granted, that we're sliding, because if you look under the covers, we have some real problems in education. Nationwide, 54% of our adults read at the 6th grade level or less. 61% don't have the math skills to live as an independent adult, as the test describes it. And unfortunately, with our next generation, we're not doing any better. There's a lot of debate going on now, things like not having right answers in a math curriculum, not worrying about that, not having accountability. It doesn't matter how defiant we are, nature will not bend. Science and math are the pursuit of truth. And what's so fabulous about this high school is that we are sending a very strong signal, but also taking action to raise the next generation to understand that we're depending on them. Someday, the kids at this school and all our schools around the country, we're going to depend on them, right? They're the mechanic checking the wing on your plane before you fly. They're the pharmacist measuring out your medicine. We depend on having an educated population that is science and math literate. And this school is a huge step in that direction. The second emergency is innovation and having an environment that nurtures that. It's so important to have that. We don't just want to fix our planes and give medicine. We want to invent the new ones, like what's going on at SHEBA. We have to keep that going. And New Jersey has slipped over the decades. We are the home of Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell, but we've had a slow and steady drift for decades. Last year, many states around the country had massive venture capital flow in. For us, it dropped. We are tied with Kentucky. Other places are bypassing us. We're not going to let that happen because we are New Jersey strong. And this campus, putting this high school with this incubator, is just exactly the thing we need to turn this around, to attract talent and capital to New Jersey. And it is the leadership of Paul, this whole team at Liberty Science Center, Mayor Fulop doing incredible work, not just fighting all those battles, but giving very tangible support to make this possible, and the support all the way from Governor Murphy down to everybody in the county. This is exactly what we need because it is an emergency. We want to make New Jersey strong. I'm incredibly proud to be part of this, so excited to see what arises across the street, because I think it'll be a signal and a leader for the whole state and really for the whole country. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Amy Lynn Rodriguez, the superintendent of the Hudson County Schools of Technology that our school is part of. They'll be running the school. And Amy.
Good morning, everybody. As a proud administrator for the Hudson County Schools, as well as a very active resident of Jersey City, a groundbreaking ceremony like today holds a special place in our heart, and I want to thank County Executive Tom DeGISE and Mayor Fulop for collaborating with the genius of Paul HOFFMAN in bringing something like SciTech City to a county that truly needs this. What a lot of people didn't mention today was over 20 years ago, Explore 2000 Middle School, part of the Hudson County Schools of Technology, actually started in a classroom lab space in the former Liberty Science Center. And our students at the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level had the opportunity to shadow scientists throughout the day. In fact, we built our curriculum around thematic units based in the Liberty Science Center. So to see this happening and coming into full circle today is a big monumental occasion, not only for our district, but for all of the learners within the Hudson County Schools of Technology. When we take a look at our district, we are a county vocational school. We specialize in career and technical education. And Governor Murphy, you've been so supportive of the CTE efforts that we've been able to bring a lot of our programs into fruition just in the last 3 years with the support of building what everyone's calling this incubator. And Ms. Overdeck, when you mentioned that you want to see things work, this is going to work, and it's thanks to the collaborative teams of our commissioner, our curriculum teams that are working together. We also have on the other side the county vocational schools working with the HCIA and all of the other county entities and the city entities to bring this to life. So once again, we look forward to this continued collaboration of bringing a career and technical education program to a level that didn't exist, but no pressure on us, right, Commissioner? Okay. Everybody have a great afternoon, and once again, thank you for this opportunity.
And now I'd like to introduce the county executive, Tom DeGiese. It's through his leadership and his vision to be able to see something that's just on a sheet of paper that we're just dreaming about, that is going to be a reality and change this county. And really thank you for that and for your support and for your vision. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. I'm very pleased and honored to be here, and I think I'm hitting cleanup today, so I won't be, I'll be brief. Now, am I riding down here today trying to think about what I would say if given a chance to speak? I remember the year 1993. In 1993, I was elected the council president in Jersey City. It also was the birth, as Paul had told me, of the Science Center. I knew it was right around that. When they opened up, they had a massive marketing thing trying to get people to know that it was there and to go there, see the cinema and advertise. And the theme of the advertising was, come to the Liberty Science Center, exit 14B on the turnpike. They wouldn't mention Jersey City. They didn't think saying Jersey City would be helpful to people coming. But thanks to people like our mayor now and mayors in between, I think that that story has definitely changed a little bit. And I know that Jersey City is proud to house this, and also should remember that it's a county school, that Jersey City is Godzilla in Hudson County. It makes up over 40% of the population, but tiny Guttenberg and East Newark will also have access for their students to come to this wonderful institution. So I want to, the people like Amy Lynn, my Amy that's around here somewhere, Amy DeGiese, Joey Muniz and Joe Colangelo and some of the people, they do all the hard work, and guys like me get up here and make speeches. But we're very, very happy to be here. Where the last point I'd like to make is the pandemic itself, where over 700,000 Americans have already died from that, and that number keeps rolling up. We're at war. More people are dying here than died in any of the wars, I believe, other than the Civil War, where everybody was an American. But wars in the future may not be fought with people with helmets and hand grenades on their thing. Wars are going to be fought by people with white lab coats and masks over their mouth. and we'll be very proud to be preparing for whatever comes right here in Jersey City at this fine facility. I'll see you in 2 years. Thank you.
Yeah, Liberty Science Center is very proud to be in Jersey City. Here we are at 222 Jersey City Boulevard. And, you know, there's been no reason to leave Jersey City. I mean, you want your fix of art, you go to the Pompidou Center. You want to go to the largest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere, you go over to LSC. You want the best pizza in New York City, according to the New York Times? It's in Jersey City. It's Raza down the street. No reason to cross the river in that direction. All right, and now we're going to have the shovels in the ground ceremonies.